Excellencies, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, this is Maiko Tajima, a member of the House of Councilors in Japan. It is a great honor today to join this conference to commemorate the declaration of the Beijing Conference today and its impact that the platform for action has made for gender equality worldwide. The roles that the women play in a society, as you know, are too important to miss. East or west, north or south, cultural differences do not matter, as my 13 years of experience with the United Nations as humanitarian officer taught me. For example, women give birth to life, as I'm also a mother of a 4-year-old child. Just borrowed his toy today with his permission. Also, women are key to eradicate poverty, as the mothers I met in Madagascar, South Africa clearly show the links to poverty. There's also hope in that sense. And women drive social change hand in hand with men, as I see the courage every day in a Congress. And the roles of women are becoming even more important globally, as the COVID-19 pandemic is hitting the society, hitting very hard. I think, as you know, 20 million are the confirmed cases, and we have lost some 900,000 lives so far. It is obvious that the COVID-19 pandemic is affecting all parts of the world, and the life of women during this pandemic time are not exception to these changes. During this difficult time, women are often the victims of the domestic violence. Likewise, when the economic situation gets worse, it is always the women and young people who are hit the hardest, as they earn less, save less, and have more insecure jobs. But at the same time, there is a hope. Women are driving social change. As the mother that I met in Japan handled the serious shortage of masks during the pandemic time by creating these handmade masks for their families and children, friends. And this reaction was much faster than the government of Japan decided to distribute washable masks to all households in Japan. And as everyone knows, the status of women in Japan is limited, actually quite limited in my opinion. And this is quite ironic, as our economic power and probably the influence in the world is not proportionate to the status of women. For the famous gender gap index prepared by the World Economic Forum, Japan was ranked at 121st out of 153 countries in 2019. And in 2018, Japan was ranked at 110th. So it's actually a drop of 11 positions. It's getting worse. Education and health have been accredited highly, but the economic and political participation and empowerment are close to bottom. So, why is the status of women so challenging in Japan? A closer look to the analysis show that the parliamentary positions, ministerial positions that the women in Japan hold are limited. I experienced this challenge myself last year when I decided to run for the election. It was not easy. And also that the gender wage gap is wide, as it's still quite challenging for women to get a contract that pays as equally as it does to men. And still that few women hold directorial, managerial positions in business and management. So in 2019, I decided to leave the United Nations because I wanted to tackle this challenge from inside internally. Now, Japan is facing multiple serious gaps and problems that hinder the potential growth of the country. And I know gender equality is key to fill these gaps. Empowerment of women helps find solutions to these domestic problems more effectively in Japan. Here, let me highlight two examples to see how empowerment of women helps find solutions. First, the most worrying gap that the country is facing is the one between birth and death. Birth continue to drop and total number of deaths is increasing. In 2019, for example, it is estimated that the country lost about 500,000 people. It's a lot. And this rapidly shrinking population is posing various structural changes in a society, such as a nationwide pension scheme or declining tax revenues in small cities or a lack of labor force in local communities. So a woman who's educated and well in Japan do not want to spend her entire life just focused on giving birth, raising children. We would like to have a profession that is worth a life and also family. So the policy and the mind of older political leaders are not so up to date in this field, and we need to make a soft landing to this rapidly shrinking population. Here, reflecting the voice of women in a national policy priority is key. Second, also the gap between poor and the rich also requires quick, strong remedies. The Abenomics strategy and aggressive monetary easing and fiscal spending led by the Prime Minister Abe lasted for 8 years. This led to stable stock price in the market. On one hand, it made the already vulnerable even more vulnerable. Data show that 1 in 7 children suffers from poverty in Japan, and many of these are single-headed households. Of course, the majority of those are women. The effects of the COVID-19 pandemic are making poor people even more poorer, and addressing the poverty through the gender lens helps tackle these problems more effectively. So here again, women are key to eradicate poverty in Japan, I believe. And not only the status of women, social recognition for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, LGBT is also quite limited in Japan. For example, same-sex marriage is not legalized at national level, and many LGBT people choose not to disclose their sexual orientation at school, work, or even with the family. And I think it's a very sad thing. On October 9th this month, together with my colleagues in the upper house and lower house colleagues, we delivered our proposal to the Minister of State for Gender Equality of Japan. It was our response to their government's 5th National Plan for Gender Equal Society. In this proposal, we requested the government's concrete and swift actions in the following areas, such as the women and children should lead and participate in COVID-19 response planning and decision making, including the areas of domestic violence and social protection schemes. And thorough evaluations should take place to critically reflect upon the advancement of the LGBT issues and gender equality since the Beijing Conference in 1995 and the establishment of Basic Act for Gender Equality, Equal Society in Japan in year 2000. And gender mainstreaming and SDG5 should be key to any area of national plans and strategies. So gender equality has been and will be my priority and a source of aspiration in my career as a member of the House of Councilors in Japan. Women need to be empowered more in this country, and women need to be inspired more in Japan. We should create a society in a world that the woman feels proud of being a woman, as self-respect is key to all, including LGBTs. Today, I'm very, very delighted to join this conference and very excited to see the discussions. And next year, I hope that we achieve the victory in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. And I do look forward to seeing you all, not just online, but at the actual conference site next year. Thank you very much. Bye bye.